Hello and welcome back to Cats and Whiskey. I am Rob, as always, and today's cat is again Harrison, who was being an absolute diva this morning. Absolute diva. 3 a.m. is no time to play with the blinds and general cause a ruckus, but she did. Yep. All right. Yeah. Now you're okay. Yep. Diva status. Got it. Yep. And today's whiskey was supposed to be Crown Royal in glass. I got a glass bottle, guys. Things are looking up. I was going to do my review of The Bodyguard, which is playing at the Fisher Theater, but there was some articles in the Wall Street Journal that were just stunning to me. So I'm going to do the Bodyguard review a little later. Going to go over some housekeeping issues real quick. Today's whiskey, which these are not sponsored, by the way. They don't actually sponsor me. I just look towards the lowest shelf and pick them. It's Old Crow again because it's American. This is an American story we're dealing with here today. So here's the Old Crow. Once again, best-selling bourbon in the 1800s. Don't know what happened. We're going to bring it back. It'd be nice if they actually sponsored me. We'll work on it. So here we go, guys. Today we're going to talk about the military, not specifically the Army, but this story deals with the Army and military veterans. It was in the Wall Street Journal, and it made me sad. It made me angry, enough to put off a musical theater review. So that's how upsetting this is. Okay, here we go. Stories made me angry enough to do Old Crow over Crown Royal. Okay. Oh, and before we begin, someone asked me what this pen was that I sort of wave around, and I'm told I point. It's a Guinness pen. Has a Guinness lady on it, and it says, "Black goes with everything." All right. So there's a stunning dichotomy in the Wall Street Journal. 2 stories. One reads, "Military dilemma, signed up to serve but unwelcome." And then on the very same page, dispute looms over homeless veterans. We're going to start with the first one, military dilemma, signed up to serve but unwelcome. I'll just run through it. This upsets me. It's by Nancy Youssef. And it starts off 1 weekend a month. Kyung-min Cho, 20-year-old sophomore at Temple University and an aspiring Army recruit, makes the 2-hour drive to an Army base in New Jersey, puts on his Army uniform, and recites the soldier's creed. "I am a guardian of freedom, the American way of life. I am an American soldier." That's how it ends. But the beginning is, "I am an American soldier. I am a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values." And it goes through. I am a professional and I will never leave a fallen comrade. It's this whole thing that you have to memorize. And if you don't, you're in big trouble. And every morning you recite it. Every morning at like 3, you recite it. And then you also sing the Army song. "March along, sing our song." And if you, boy oh boy, as a musical theater fan, it's just at 3 a.m. not the time to sing a song. Question of what's maybe work on that. Maybe Trump, maybe get on a new song. I don't know. Just doesn't. We're a little off pitch sometimes. So, Private Cho, it says, isn't exactly an American soldier. He's an undocumented immigrant who has lived in the United States since he was 8 years old. And due to restrictions on his activity of being an undocumented immigrant, reciting the oath, it says, is one of the few things left to him when he shows up to fulfill the 6-year contract. So what he is, he's in the National Guard. The National Guard has these things called RSP weekends, where they prepare you before basic training. So what he's doing is he's going in every weekend, not every weekend, once a weekend a month, and he's basically learning military time, chain of command, how to fold your clothes, how to, make a bed, everything that'll help him not be such a screw up when he gets to basic, if that's even possible. Not sure it is. Didn't work for me. But so he's already signed a contract. They already let him in. He's fulfilling the duty that he agreed to do. They already let him in. A 6-year contract. And also it probably has, I don't know, it doesn't say in this story, but it also probably has a 2-year IIR component where he needs to be ready to go in case Canada invades for 2 years. So it says, aspiring soldiers like private show. Private. No rank, no insignia. His dress blues are just totally, that's the lowest of the lowest of the low. And he signed up to do that. Isn't that cool? Isn't that awesome? He signed up to the lowest pay grade, the lowest, and he's gonna do it for 6 years. That's awesome. It's not his fault that he came here when he was 8. So, like, they once had a path to citizenship through the military, but the Trump administration announced in September that they're basically repealing that. They're not going to do it. Donald Trump also announced in July via Twitter that transgender service members would no longer be allowed to serve in any capacity, quote, saying they were a burden on the military. Together, these two changes created a new class of service member, those who swore an oath, and that's no BS of an oath, man. Whoa. Who swore an oath to defend the nation only to discover their presence may no longer be welcome. Here's where it gets murky. Nearly 16,000 people in the military are directly affected by these changes, posing a challenge to the military recruitment and creating tension within the ranks. Top commanders have moved to reassure effective service members while trying to channel the presidential orders into a manageable process. It goes on to say, even if the DACA recipients and transgender people ultimately are permitted to keep serving, the effects of abrupt changes in their eligibility will linger. All this uncertainty, goes on to say, this uncertainty is created, it's screwing people up. There are 6,000 to 15,000 transgender service military members, according to various estimates. Many had begun going public with their status, but now fear the consequences. It says, I know people who are on the brink of coming out who didn't, said Megan Winters, petty officer second class, 29-year-old transgender service member. Those of us who came out have a giant target on our back. And then it goes on to say the Army, man, this is brutal. The Army says some 900 DACA recipients are part of a Pentagon program called Military Accessions Vital to the National Interest, which allows non-U.S. citizens with critical language or special skills to join the military. In return, those recruits would be given a fast track toward citizenship. That's cool. Don't know why you'd want to repeal that. I'm just going to go through this before I get angrier and angrier. The program suspension could affect up to 4,000 foreign-born service members who are already in there. So Private Cho, it ends. Private Cho is waiting to go to basic training when the rules change. That's not fair. He already signed the contract. For now, he is ineligible for citizenship through the military, yet he has a contract requiring him to continue serving. So he prepares in ways that are still allowed, such as repeating the 120-word soldier's creed. Man, that thing's burned into my brain. And doing physical training. It's like this every day. It's a waiting game. Okay. What in the absolute hell? Let me just tell you what this kid, this 20-year-old kid signed up for. This 20-year-old private signed up for. First of all, to die for the country. Just starting from there. And even to get to that point, they're going to ship him out to God knows where. Oklahoma. Who knows? Could be Oklahoma. Good luck. Here's what you're signing up for. Waking up at 4, if you're lucky, if you get to sleep in. PT every morning. You do running. You do sit-ups. You do... It's bad. You're constantly being yelled at. Your locker's always being searched. And this is just stuff that I wrote down just offhand. The stuff that I can say. Your bed needs to be perfectly made, even though there's no time to make your bed. You have 10 minutes to shower after PT and get in your OCPs, your camouflage uniform, basically. There's 40-foot obstacle courses. You're hanging above things. They have cushions at the beginning and end of the rope courses, but there's no cushions in the middle. Think about that. You're rappelling off. In Oklahoma, it's called Treadwell Tower. I was forced to do it twice. I broke my finger. Sucked. I'm scared of heights. It's no good. They drop you off in the middle of nowhere with no GPS, guys. You have a map and a compass. Think about that. No GPS. You're doing push-ups, sit-ups all the time. Did I mention push-ups? They suck. You're always yelled at. You use cough drops as currency for things. It's sort of like, it's basically like being in prison, essentially. You're told what to do, where to be. You're nothing. You're a lowlife. Everything you do is wrong. They literally shoot at you. That's true. You have to do you crawl through 2 football fields with your weapon in full combat gear, and they're shooting live rounds above your head, and grenades are going off. You have to learn how to... You throw live grenades, you shoot live grenades. It's hard, and not a lot of people make it. And I'm saying all this, and basic training, it's, and this is just Army. I'm sure Marines is harder. Air Force. So, it's tough. It's hard. And even to get to the point where you get a contract, you have to be in a certain physical condition, meet certain educational requirements, certain language requirements, education. It's hard to even get the contract, and then it's hard enough to get through basic training. Oh my gosh, it sucks so bad. And this kid's a private. He's the lowest of the low pay scale. He came here when he was 8 years old, and I'm sure it's happening all the time. And he has a contract. So what I'm trying to say is it takes guts to even make the choice. Only about 1% of people in the country do. And even if you do, if you get there were kids, and unfortunately, one reason, injury or another, I was hurt. I was, but I made it. But there are kids that get hurt that don't make it. But God bless him for trying. So this is all just to say he didn't sign up for Disney Vacation Wonderland tour experience. He signed up to be shot at, to be yelled at, and that's just basic training. He's going to be shot at and yelled at maybe when over in Afghanistan or something awful. Korea, who the heck knows what's going on? He'll get these awesome government glasses. Pretty cool. Maybe that's the one benefit. But so holy heck, guys, the solution here, I think, is that there should be when you join and you sign this contract, why not, Trump administration, if you want to make these changes, why not make a cutoff? Why not be anyone who has a contract, we will honor it? Private, CHO, any transgender members, and that's nothing against transgender people. It's just, honestly, guys, it's confusing because of the barracks. We don't know, what barracks are you going to be in? Females weren't allowed in the male barracks. Males weren't allowed in the female barracks the problem is the buildings are old. It's confusing. Honestly, I personally, this is just me, I don't care, dude. Can you shoot, and can you not get lost? That's essentially it. I don't care if you're a male, female, beta, niner, alpha. I don't care what you identify, dude. Can you be a soldier? That's really all I care about personally. But logistically, that's the issue that the Trump administration is trying to deal with. Logistically, it's hard because of who's going to sleep, who's going to shower where, who's going to be in what unit. That's why that's tough. But this deal with Private CHO, it's not his fault. He was here when he was 8, and he's undocumented immigrant. So just the solution here is honor the contracts. Make a cutoff date. Make a cutoff date. Let this kid serve his 6 years as private, and he'll rank up. And oh my gosh, Private Cho, he could become a ranger. Who the heck knows what? Seems like a smart kid, going to Temple. Hey, go Owls! Let him just serve their contract. Man, that's what I think in terms of the beginning of military service for Private Cho and everybody, all these thousands of people who were stuck just waiting to go to basic, wondering what's going on. Honor the contract. Make a cutoff date. Ta-da! Okay. Now that we went through my offhand remembrances of basic and what it takes to even fulfill your contract, which is no joke, let's go to the second story, which is, again, on the same page of the Wall Street Journal. It reads the headline, "Dispute looms over homeless veterans. Advocates and lawmakers resist efforts by the Trump administration to cut housing subsidies." And this is by Ben Kelsing, and it's out of Washington. All right, after thinking about basic, we're going to go back to the American whiskey. I'll just think of when I was rappelling down the 40-foot tower twice, and my finger was busted. It was awesome. If you're doing it, don't get your finger stuck in the figure 8 loop, your brake hand. It'll break your finger. No joke. Okay, so out in Washington, it starts out, veteran advocates and lawmakers have beaten back an effort to trim some veterans programs, but a fresh fight over aid for homeless veterans and other priorities is going on in the Department of Veterans Affairs as it pursues wide-ranging shifts in the way the agency uses its resources. Man, this sucks. Here's to all the veterans out there, guys. This one's for you. I'm going to try to get through this and not be angry. Again, I wanted to review The Bodyguard, but here we are. And I think with Cats and Whiskey, we've got to really take a break from all this real serious stuff and get back to what's important, which is cats, whiskey, and musicals. But this one burns my britches, and if my britches are on fire, we're going to talk about it. So, there's an effort to reduce funding for a program designed to help disabled veterans who are unable to work. The idea was to shift resources to other priorities, but the department's secretary, David Shulkin, scrapped the cuts after they produced an outcry from veterans groups and lawmakers. Opponents are saying that the VA hadn't done enough to consult with veterans and other constituents before it pursued the changes. You think? Really? It goes on to say that the VA subsidies to homeless veterans have been around for decades, and this is good, but grew rapidly under the administration of Mr. Trump's Democratic predecessor, Barack Obama. Under this program, the VA teams up with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is HUD, and gives housing vouchers, and the VA provides caseworkers to offer extensive support to veterans. Since its inception, some 85,000 of the vouchers have been given out. There are currently some 40,000 homeless veterans. This is just... Currently, some 40,000 homeless veterans among the estimated 500,000. Oh, man. Over 500,000 homeless people in the U.S. So, and it goes on to say that what the VA was trying to do was to move this money into use it in other ways. But then it ends with Alexander Smith III moved off the street into a transitional housing complex, and he was an Army veteran, 39 years old. He said that homeless vets believe the vouchers are critical to helping them cope and manage costs associated with moving into a new house. things like buying pots and pans, sheets and towels, and he said they look at it as a way to start rebuilding. Man, and the government is moving away from that, moving away from cutting housing subsidies for homeless veterans. So I just went through how hard it is to even get to be a veteran, to even get to veteran status. This guy's 39 years old, in the Army, had to do all the things that Private Cho is wanting to do. And so we're now saying, if you want to join, no. And if you did join, no. That's disgraceful on both sides of this coin. Absolutely disgraceful. If Republicans are all about guns, God's government, and if Democrats want to shrink the defense budget, awesome. Then no one's going to lose if you make a deal which maybe shrinks corporate contracts for fighter planes or whatever. With drones, there's ways to make this work. You could restructure the corporate contracts, move that money to helping veterans, which they deserve, dude. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard to become a veteran, and I'm trying my best to not be angry. I'm just going to wave my pen around. Black goes with everything. And if a kid or whomever, undocumented immigrant, transgender, honor the damn contracts. Why don't we make this stupid page in the Wall Street Journal, this stupid page that makes the military look, it's the government, it's not the military, it makes the government look ridiculous for everyone involved, for the people just want to serve the country, and you're making it hard for them to do so even when they have a contract, and then when they've fulfilled their contract, you're making it hard for them to get housing. Okay, that's just there it is. Fulfill the contracts that exist, make a cutoff date. Ta-da! People may not agree with it. If you're undocumented immigrant, from here on out, no, we're going to work on it. If you're transgender, here on out, no, we'll work on it. Yeah, there'll be a fight over it, but anyone who has a contract will honor it. And the VA, we're going to not take away your housing benefits, which you fought for and earned. Boom! Touchdown, Detroit Lions. All right, I'm Rob. This is Cats and Whiskey. The Bodyguard review is coming up. I'm going to have a lot more fun. I won't be slamming down pens. But thanks, guys. Feel free to leave your comments below and do subscribe. And we're going to be doing a lot more lighthearted stuff so I don't get furious. All right. Thanks. We're going to go refill the American stock of whiskey. All right, Cats and Whiskey, guys. We'll see you next time.